What's up, you guys? It's Sarah, and welcome back to another video. So, I'm going to be doing a little story time today. I don't think I've ever done one of these, or maybe I have, I don't remember. But my life isn't that interesting, so I don't really have that many stories to tell. But today, I do. Let's just get right into it. Today's Wednesday, so it's been almost a week since this happened, but last Thursday, I was in the hospital, and I'm going to tell you what happened. So I have some allergies. I'm allergic to dairy, eggs, most nuts, and a few random fruits and probably some other things that I can't think of right now. And I've had them since I was born. I've always been really careful and stuff like that. But this time I wasn't very careful and I had an allergic reaction, and that's how I ended up in the hospital. I went to my uncle and aunt's house, and my uncle had made some veggie burgers, and he showed me the recipe and stuff, and everything looked fine. So I figured that I would try one because I was super hungry because I hadn't eaten very much that day, or I ate like a small supper or something like that because I was rushed because I went on a little road trip and then I came back home for my sister's grad, and basically there's just a lot going on, so I was super hungry. So I was like, okay, I'll try one. And usually when I try new things, I'll try a little bit and then I'll wait a little bit and just make sure that everything's fine. But for some reason this time I just didn't do that, and I just ate the whole burger. And I ate the first burger and I was like, I felt fine and everything was good, and it tasted pretty good too, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have another one. So I ate another one, and as soon as I ate the second one, my stomach and my back kind of started to hurt, and I had bad posture when I was eating it because I was like sitting on the floor and I was kind of like slouching, so I just thought that my back was hurting. And usually when my back hurts a lot, then my stomach will start to hurt because it feels like my spine is like going into my stomach, and yeah, it was just not good. So I just figured it was that, and I was like, whatever. And then we went home. And then I was at home, and usually when my back hurts, I take a shower and that'll help a little bit. So I took a hot shower and I got out of the shower, and I still didn't feel great. Like my stomach kind of hurt and my chest was starting to feel a little bit tight, but I was like, maybe it's just my back. So I was like lying in my bed, like curled up in like fetal position, because that also helps when my back hurts. And then my dad came downstairs and I was like, I don't know if I'm having an allergic reaction, but like my stomach and back my stomach, back, and like chest and all that kind of hurt. And he's like, you should probably come upstairs in case something happens. So I was like, okay. So I was like lying on the couch upstairs, and I was like trying to convince myself that I was fine, because at this point it was like, oh my gosh, it was like a screaming child. At this point, it was probably like almost 10 o'clock. So I didn't really want to like do anything. Like I wanted to just go to sleep basically. So I was just lying on the couch, and then at this point my dad told my mom, and then my mom was like freaking out a little bit. And then I was just, I was chilling there, and then my throat also started to feel a little bit like just weird, like not tingly, but it just felt like not right. And I was just trying to convince myself it was fine and everything was fine and that I'd be okay. And then I coughed, and it sounded like it was like it's like something like that. It was like such a gross, like wheezy cough. And then my mom like freaked out and she's like, we're going to the hospital. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I was like so out of it that I was like, whatever, I guess I'll just go to the hospital, like I don't care. And my brain was starting to feel like a little bit foggy too, but I was just not in it because I was having an allergic reaction. Well, I honestly at that point I didn't even know what was going on. We drive to the hospital, and then I get checked in and I get a room right away because just allergy things, am I right? Yeah, I literally didn't even have to wait for a room. I just signed in, and they're like, hey, like go over to whatever room. And for some reason I was sitting in a wheelchair because like I was just like too, like I don't even know if I was tired. I just like couldn't stand up. I like honestly felt bad that I was using a wheelchair. I was like, sorry, just use it, like whatever. I got rolled over to the room, sat in the hospital bed, and then the doctor came in and she was super nice, and she was like talking to me about my symptoms and all that. And then they injected me with epinephrine, which is what's in EpiPens, except if you didn't know, EpiPens are really expensive, but it's not because of the medicine that's inside of it, which are like the epinephrine, it's because of the technology. So that's what makes it like in the hundreds of dollars. I think at least I usually get mine for like 100 or so, but it's covered by insurance. But anyway, they're pretty expensive because of the technology. So if you get epinephrine in a syringe and inject it, then it's a lot cheaper and it's the same thing. So anyway, they injected me in a syringe full of epinephrine, and then I took like Benadryl and like 2 other pills. And then honestly, right after that, I was fine. That's when I knew it was an actual allergic reaction, because as soon as I had the epinephrine, I was like fine. They also like hooked me up to like the heart monitor thing, and I had like all these like, I don't even know what they're called, those like patches. I don't even really know what the machine was, but I was hooked up to the machine so they could measure my heart rate, and they put the little thing on my finger. And yeah, I was just hanging out, and then the nurse said that they were going to keep me there for 4 hours to monitor my heart rate and stuff and make sure everything was fine. But at this point it was like 10:30, so she's like, hey, well, we're going to keep you here till 2:30. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you actually being serious? Because I didn't want to stay in the hospital till 2:30, and after I got the epinephrine I was fine. Like, I felt completely normal and all my symptoms were gone, but I had to stay in the hospital. It was just my mom there with me because my dad had to go pick up my sister from her after grad. So once my dad came back, he picked up my mom, and then it was just me hanging out in the hospital. I basically just watched like YouTube videos and stuff, and then I fell asleep at like 12 o'clock, and then my brother came to pick me up. But while I was there, my machine just kept beeping, and it was just like beeping so much, and once in a while the nurses would come in and turn it off, and then it would just start beeping again, and it was like so annoying. And also, before I went to the hospital, I packed water, but I was so out of it that I didn't even bring it from the car into the hospital. So I kept asking them for I asked them for water once because I was literally too scared to, because I just didn't want to press the button. And then I had to go to the washroom at another point, but I didn't want to press the button to ask them because I was like scared I was going to annoy them. But I guess like it's kind of their job to help me. I mean, it is their job to help me, so I shouldn't feel bad, but I just felt bad that I was annoying them. So, I'm in my room right now, and the alarm keeps going off. I think it's from my machine. Anyway, I need to get some water, I need to press this call button, but I'm nervous because I've never done it before, and I'm scared to ask for help. But you know what? I'm gonna do it to them. Oh, also, when I was at the hospital, the nurses were like, okay, we're gonna put an IV in you. And I was like, haha. And she was like looking in my hands for my veins, and I have like super small veins. She's like, oh yeah, your veins are so small. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna hurt. And then I was like, do I have to have an IV? And she's like, well, it's policy in case something happens, and then we have to like inject medicine into you. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, but technically you could refuse it. And I was like, okay, I refuse it. Because I just really didn't want an IV. And I was like fine after like the epinephrine. So I was like, I don't want it. Like, I've never had an IV before, and I'm scared to get one because it just sounds not good. So last Sunday, so like 2 days ago now, we went over to my uncle and aunt's house again, and then we were asking them what was in like the burgers, and one of the ingredients was breadcrumbs, and the breadcrumbs that my uncle used had eggs in them, so that was what caused my reaction. I feel like if I ate only one burger I would have been fine, because I don't know, maybe like that first burger didn't have any or that much breadcrumb in it, the second one had more. But you know what, whatever, like it happened and I'm fine now, and that's good. I guess the moral of the story is, I mean, if you don't have allergies, this probably has no like relation to you at all, but if you have allergies, be careful when you're eating stuff, even if it's like if you're eating things that someone made for you that you know really well. Like, I've eaten at my uncle and aunt's house like countless times, and I've never had, well, maybe I've had a few problems before, but like, I don't know, this time I just let my guard down, I guess, and I didn't eat a little bit of the food at a time, and that was a mistake. So yeah, if you have allergies, be careful. Also make sure you carry your EpiPen around with you at all times, and if you feel like something is wrong, there's probably something wrong, and it's better to go to the hospital and, you know, make sure that you're gonna be okay rather than just wait it out, because I think if I waited it out, I would have had like the worst night ever. I think I would have been fine, but also I might not have been fine, so I think it was good that we went to the hospital, and I definitely felt better as soon as I got injected with epinephrine, so I'm glad I went. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, maybe got something out of it. Also, I'm sorry about the camera quality. I dropped my camera lens and it broke, and now I sent it in to get it repaired, and hopefully it doesn't cost too much money, but yeah, that's why I'm filming on my phone right now. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.